We're in the first week of April 2017, so it's time for another monthly update video. I'll talk about what went on in March, turns out a lot, and what we've got coming up in April, also a lot. I'm also very excited about the three big things for this month, so let's launch right into those. Big thing number one, we now have available in the Reason IO Academy a two-course series on Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. This is something I've been working on for quite some time. It's really a wonderful set of resources to help learners make their way through that, but I'll talk more about that in the April section. Second thing, also Aristotle related, later on this month we have a free webinar and two online intensive seminars coming up on the topic of Aristotle, friendship, and relationships. Links to that is also below in the video description, so you want to check that out. Third big thing is not Aristotle related, instead it's connected with Hegel. So this month we're going to have another Hegel party. Why a Hegel party? Well, because in the half-hour Hegel project we've actually finished the reason section, or will have finished it up about midway through the month, and are moving into the next massive section of the work, spirit. Phenomenology of spirit is named after that. So those are the three big things. Let's talk now about what went on during March. On a personal note, what I'm going to say is that I had thought March would be my month to actually get caught up because it's got 31 days, so it feels like you're getting a bonus after the very short February month. But it didn't turn out quite like that, in part because I got a lot of new work, which is great, and in part because I also have been working out, which tires me out physically, and my kids came to visit for their spring break, which I'm really happy to have, but means that I get a little bit less work done during that time. I cut back to about 4 hours a day, and some days I didn't even do any work, believe it or not, other than housework and tending to the kids. But that was really great. So what went on during the month of March? We had a talk during the series on philosophy and speculative fiction on Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Really great. Some excellent discussion and attendance, and there have been some great comments on the video for that. We did our normal half-hour Hegel sessions, one for the public and one just for Patreon subscribers. We also began the new webinar and online seminar series with a webinar and two online seminars on Aristotle's views on virtues and vices, and that went really well. The participants were very happy with it, so I'm really glad to kick it off in that sort of way, with on a high note. And then towards the end of the month, we had three other events. Two of them were associated with Women's History Month. One was a lecture on Mary Wollstonecraft, commissioned by the Brookfield Public Library. Another began a new quarterly series on women you should read. This year we're looking at philosophers. We'll probably actually continue looking at philosophers for quite a while. And we talked about Princess Elizabeth of Bohemia. Links to those videos are below in the video description. And we had our Milwaukee MKE Stoic Fellowship meeting. Again, very well attended, a lot of great discussion that we had going on. That group is starting to gel, and I'm very happy about that. Another thing that went on during March is I had an interview with Clifford Sargent, who has started a new podcast on the 3 books that have changed your life. So he asked me to be the first guest on the podcast. I was very happy to do that because I really like his work. And so we did a collaboration. You can see it on his channel. I'll put a link to it below. As it turned out, the 3 books that, after I gave a lot of thought to it, were Plato's Republic, Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, and Epictetus's Discourses. Not a big surprise probably for all of you out there, but it turned out to be a big surprise for me after I thought it through. I did a good bit of video work. I did my 6 half-hour Hegel videos for the month, getting us almost to the end of the reason section. I also shot a number of videos on Aristotle's categories, started some new core concept videos, and I'm very happy about that. I did shoot another personal video, this one about having 3 fathers. If you're wondering what that means, well, take a look at the video, which I'll link to below. And we had videos for each of the events that went on. So one for Douglas Adams, one for Mary Wollstonecraft, one for Elizabeth of Bohemia. I also started teaching an online class for Marist College. I'm an adjunct for them and occasionally teach, but just online. And so started a new worldviews and values section, which I had to redesign a little bit because they've compressed it now from 10 weeks to 8 weeks. So, there's a little bit of design work involved. I picked up some new tutoring clients, some new philosophical counseling clients, did some more of both of those, and continued some of the academic coaching and leadership coaching that I've been doing. I also did a lot of course building, culminating in that Aristotle Nicomachean Ethics online course. A good bit of work for the Institute of Priority Thinking, developing curriculum for them in their Educating the Emotions series, and a lot of work on Stoicism today as we gear up for Stoicon, Stoic Week, and a lot of other Stoic-related things. There's a good bit of work that has to be done for the blog, and that's quite rewarding. I didn't get quite so much writing done as I have done in previous months. A little bit of blogging, not too much. I focused more on academic writing because I have a conference coming up that I'm working on a paper for. So I did a good bit of work on that, but there's still more work to be done this month. So let's talk about April now, and I have a number of events coming up. I'm going to just sort of rattle them off. You'll see the dates and times scrolling below, and if you're in the area, you're welcome to come to any of them. Some of them are online, so you're also welcome to come to any of those events as well. So we're starting on Thursday the 13th at 7 p.m. at the Brookfield Public Library. We continue the Philosophy and Speculative Fiction series with a session on Anne McCaffrey's first 3 books in the Dragon Riders of Pern series. First 3 because it's a massive series that her son has also continued. I found this out when I went to the library to check it out. So that'll be a fun discussion. The usual crowd, I'm sure, will be there, but we're always happy to see newcomers as well if you're in the area. Wednesday, April 19th at 5 p.m., and this is Central Time because this is an online event, we have the half-hour Hegel Q&A public discussion. So if you've got any Hegel-related questions or you just want to talk about Hegel and German idealism, pop on in. We hold it in our Reason.io free conference call meeting space. From Thursday the 20th to Saturday the 22nd, I'm going to be flying out to New Hampshire. I will be at the, I think it's the 6th St. Anselm Conference, sponsored by the Institute for St. Anselm Studies and hosted at St. Anselm College. So that is always a fun thing. I'll be presenting a paper on Anselm and virtue ethics. There'll be a lot of people that I know there that I want to reconnect with. There's a lot of people I don't know, but I'm looking forward to meeting there. If you're in that area and you want to hear me talk, you can pop in at St. Anselm College. I think the conference is actually held in the library, so right there in the middle of things, and you can see the St. Anselm collection as well. So then I'll be flying back, and on Sunday the 23rd at 2 p.m. Central Time, we are going to have our Hegel party. Now, why are we having a Hegel party? Because Hegel's phenomenology of spirit is divided into a number of sections. And we made our way through most of the early stuff. We're more than halfway through the work now. And the reason section was over 200 paragraphs long in an 800-paragraph work. And we're moving into another massive section, spirit. So we want to take a little time to celebrate and just catch up with each other. So I'll actually be having 3 Hegel events this month, counting the public one and the Hegel party and the Patreon exclusive Hegel session. Now the Hegel party, that's for everybody. If you like Hegel or you just want to chat with me and raise a glass, you're welcome to do so. Tuesday the 25th. at 12 p.m., again, Central Time, we have our free webinar on Aristotle on friendship and relationships, Nicomachean Ethics, books 8 and 9. We'll be talking about such things as, are there different kinds of friendships or different sorts of love that we might feel for each other? When should you cut somebody loose? Is it okay to ever use somebody? All these sorts of interesting questions and quandaries that get posed. Thursday the 27th at 6 p.m. here in Milwaukee at the Shorewood Public Library, we have our MKE Stoic Fellowship. So if you're in the area and you want to talk about Stoicism, particularly about Epictetus, and you want to see some other people who are trying to use it to work out kinks in their life, show up and we'll be happy to see you. Saturday the 29th at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., that's 2 different sessions, we will be having our intensive online seminars. Each of these is 2 hours long. We'll be talking about Aristotle, friendship, the relationships, all sorts of other things. So it's sort of like the webinar, except doing a much, as they like to call it these days, deeper dive, right? And I'll be giving some nice resources to the people who come to that as well. That's everything that we've got going on as far as events. There is also the Aristotle course that I mentioned. So I should say a little bit about this. I'm not going to say too much because I'm linking to a video below that you can watch, which tells you about the course. It's actually 2 courses. I split it up into 2 in part because there's so much material. There's almost 100 videos. There's, dozens of lesson pages, handouts, worksheets. I've got quizzes set up. It's an intensive online environment, and you work at it at your own pace. If you've ever wanted to study the Nicomachean Ethics, but you were, finding it difficult or you put it off, you might want to consider this course. Or if you've already looked at it and you want to go further into detail with somebody who's been studying it for about 20 years, actually a little bit longer than that, then you want to check out this course. So the link is below. Check it out. You can actually preview some of the content for free, and then you can see whether you want to do it or not. Video work. I'm planning on doing a lot of video work this month. I promised to get to shooting some stuff on SART last month. I'm hoping to get to it this month on the flies and maybe a few other things in SART. I'm also going to be, moving into the spirit section with Half Hour Hegel, getting a lot more Aristotle categories videos done, in part because I'm prepping for a course on that. I'll do some more personal videos, including some stuff about my own philosophical development. And, of course, we'll have the event videos coming up from the Anne McCaffrey and I think probably also from the Anselm conference as well. The Marist class is continuing. My students are now getting to the point where they have to write the longer papers. I've got a lot of tutorial students and a few clients with philosophical counseling and coaching. By the way, if you're interested in those sort of services, you can go to the Reason.io website, check them out, and you can always email me at greg@reason.io if you're interested in discussing those sorts of things. I'll be doing a lot of work doing curriculum development for priority thinking. I'm doing some course building in our own Reason.io Academy. I want to tell you about the 2 courses that I'm very ambitiously hoping to roll out later on this month or at the beginning of next month. I do want to produce a course on Aristotle's categories, and that's a good bit of work, but it would be very rewarding because I know I found that text incredibly confusing when I was a student. And then I'm going to do another short course on Cicero's Stoic paradoxes. A lot of work this month as well for Stoicism Today. I'm going to be doing more writing in blog stuff, hopefully get one out in Partially Examined Life, hopefully get something done in Policy of Truth, my own blog, Erexis Dianoetike. Who knows, I might even get to write something in Heavy Metal Philosopher, fingers crossed. Got some other writing projects underway as well. I'm still working on the Aristotle and Anger book, the Stoicism and Anger books. That's a lot of work, and I'm working on a few other bits and pieces of other writing projects, including the Anselm paper on virtue. But I have some other papers that need to be polished up and sent out. So a busy month ahead. And I hope that you'll join us for our online events. Certainly check them out. All the stuff is in the descriptions below the video. You can click on those and find out a lot more. I don't need to go into any more detail about that sort of stuff. And as a last thing, we're starting to fill up our calendar for fall 2017. I've already got some things booked in various places, but if you're interested in having me come out and speak or provide a workshop or lead a discussion or something like that, go ahead and email me, greg@reason.io, and pitch me what you'd like me to come in and talk about, and we'll talk terms. All right, so I hope you have a great month ahead, and maybe I'll see you in the ether or here face to face.